Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and make it yours on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we are discussing a rare and unconventional Bell & Ross, a timepiece that's anything but the instrument aesthetic. This is a watch that has more in common with a 1940s Breitling wrist chronograph for an aviator or a Luftwaffe b-uhr than any contemporary Bell & Ross instrument-style watch. This is an instrument watch from the 1940s, or more precisely, it's the Bell & Ross WW2 Regulateur Heritage, a timepiece that is big and bold at 49 millimeters in gray PVD stainless steel. Remarkably, because of the hinge lugs, the watch is 49 millimeters in diameter and 49 millimeters lug-to-lug. It's exactly cushion-shaped on the wrist, despite being a round watch. It's not as thick as you expect. At only 13 millimeters, this is about as thick as something like a Rolex Submariner, or well, it's thinner than a Sea Dweller, so this is an unusual watch that's remarkably broad and remarkably flat, like a pancake on the wrist. It can actually fit underneath the cuff, and on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, I can tell you with no doubt, you could wear this watch on a smaller wrist than what you're seeing right now. I would say for 14.5 centimeter circumference lower limit, you're good to go. Jumping into the strap, it's a handsome piece. As you can see, it's a distressed leather. It has a raw, aged look to it, and it's new on the bottom. You can see it's a fresh factory Bell & Ross strap. It's in perfect condition, but it has this aged, rough, rusticated look with an aged style stitching that's dyed an ecru off-white color, and it has a matching pin buckle, which is remarkably elaborate. Remember, Bell & Ross is a Parisian-based company that manufactures in Switzerland, so they're a design house first and foremost, and nowhere is that more evident than in this particular pin buckle, which is anything but a generic piece. Now jump into the case itself. You can see it has an oversized onion-style crown with another polished and raised Bell & Ross ampersand logo. There's that hinge style lug, and you might be surprised to know that the watch takes a standard size strap, 20 millimeters. Although it's an elaborate lug, it's a standard spacing, and you can easily aftermarket this thing with 20 millimeter straps. The case is simple. It's a canister. I would say tuna can, but it's not that thick. It is just a wafer-like broad expanse of mid-20th century aviation hardware that sits on your wrist with a onion-style crown that's easy to turn, and being a bit of a lefty, it's not going to dig your wrist. It was the fashion back then, also highly practical. It remains so today, but let me emphasize, this is an ambidextrous watch. I strapped it to both wrists. It's not going to irritate. It's not going to be a problem. The timepiece featuring a regulator dial. What you're looking at is an ETA 2892 automatic base, 40-hour power reserve, automatic winding, 28/8 beat rate, stop seconds or hacking, and then it's modified with the Dubois de Praz module to create the regulator dial. And so you have constant seconds in one of the sub-registers, you have hours down at 6 o'clock, you have this vintage aesthetic that looks like aged radium patina from the 1940s, but it's actually all super luminova. Even though it doesn't read as lume, it is. There's a sort of black-brown matte finish to the dial, and it does have that vintage aviator's aesthetic. But one of the curious features of this dial is that the minute hand being so ungodly long, you can actually see it moving in real time, and even as I speak to you, you're going to see it draw away from that index along which it has aligned itself. It is a minute hand that is so long at its outer tip you can actually see it moving, and I've never experienced that on a watch. You also get a better sense of the dial features. It is a matte finish, and it is somewhere between black and brown. That's the best way to describe it. The bezel is mobile, and the bezel features no intuitive calibration until you realize that each of these crests represents 1 hour. So it has 12 crests, and you can use them as hours or 5-minute indications. It's not really going to help you to use them as hour indications because the hour subdial is down at 6 o'clock, but if you want to line up the index with the minute hand, you're going to find that each one of these crests can be used to approximate 5 minutes, so you can use this bidirectional aviator's bezel as a rough timing instrument. The timepiece is not highly water resistant. As you can see on the case back, it is 50 meters water resistant, and I would consider it safe for splashing. Remember, this one is designed to be high and dry in the cockpit, not in the boat. A timepiece that is remarkably huge but wearable. It's the antidote to the big pilot's watch, which is frankly unwearable on almost all arms. If you're into that 1940s aviator style, you want something different, you want a Bell & Ross that's not just another instrument series, and you want a wearable alternative to a big pilot, look no farther. The Bell & Ross WW2 Regulateur Heritage is your choice. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Here you can see the Bell & Ross Regulator. It is abundantly lumed even if it doesn't look it in the light. See it by day and make it yours on our website.